Growth in skill. During the Paleolithic Age, there was a great increase of skill in the manufacture of implements. Over the past 100 years, investigation has shown that a Paleolithic site may have characteristic stone implements, and that, having been studied there, those particular kinds may turn up again and again in other places, and so indicate a similar way of life or culture. Thus implements first studied from the Dordogne cavern, called Lemostea, near the right bank of river Vizir, and from that fact called Mousterian, occur in many places in Europe and Asia. The implements in question form the Mousterian culture. The local examples of any culture regarded individually are called industries. Thus we may speak of the Mousterian industry of Kent's Cavern, Torquay, meaning by that the implements of that culture occurring as the tools of the men living at Kent's Cavern. Thus we have the following Paleolithic cultures as important examples. Abervillian, named from Aberville on the Somme. Actulian, from Saint-Actuel, in the Somme valley just above Amiens. Levalloisian, after the Levois-Perret quarter of Paris. Mousterian, from the cavern called Le Mosier in the Vézerie valley. Arignatian, Arignac, is in Haute-Garonne, 40 miles southwest of Toulouse. Salutrian, called after Salutry, department Saône-et-Loire. Magdalenian, from a place on the right bank of the Vézerie, not far from the ancient castle of La Madeleine. Implements of Abervillian age are flattish lumps of flint, coarsely flaked round the edge from both sides, so as to produce a large, irregularly oval or pear-shaped hand-axe, which is the core of the original flint pebble. Such flaking as this can be produced either by hitting the flint with another flint or lump of rock used as a hammer, or by striking it against the edge of a massive stone. It might take thousands of years for the new method to become known over the breadth of a continent, but eventually the new style supplant the old. Contemporary with Abervillian core tools, we find flakes fashioned as implements. This early flake industry is called Clactonian, from Acton-on-sea, Essex, where gravels provided the first studied implements of this kind. The flakes themselves are coarse, and were probably made by striking the flint against a very large stone. The tools frequently show the bulb of percussion. The edges of the flakes are trimmed. It may be mentioned that a wooden spearhead of yew of this age was found at Clacton. This is the only Paleolithic wooden implement so far discovered in Britain. Another spear, also of yew, was obtained from a Levalloisian site in Germany. The next culture we must mention is the Acheulean. Its implements are principally core tools, especially oval to pointed hand axes for cutting and scraping. These tools are fairly smooth in outline and have shallow flaking, probably produced by knapping with bone, hard wood or soft stone. They are of a more perfect form than Abervillian hand axes and have a more effective cutting edge. Flake tools of the Levalloisian culture were more elaborate and more carefully executed than the implements of earlier cultures. They were typically produced from cores previously shaped by preliminary chipping to the form of a depressed cone. Skillful knapping from the prepared core provided either oval or long narrow flakes, which were implements in themselves and needed no further treatment. Sometimes the butt of the flake bears traces of the preliminary chipping of the core. This kind of butt is termed faceted. In such implements, the bulb of percussion is prominent if a hard hammer stone was used to strike the flake from the core, but it is flatter if a softer tool was employed for the purpose. The Mousterian culture is largely characterised by carefully made flake implements with edges trimmed, probably by pressure against bone.